Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Badass, episode number 36. If we're meeting for the first time, my name's Carrie Hyam. I'm here with my other beaches, Adrienne Lindeen, Fran Laubscher, and Kat Krasilnikov. And on Unleash Your Inner Badass, we're talking all things mindset, the things that take place in our heads that keep us stuck. We've come to find that 95% of growing any type of business is mental, right? Like it's a mental game. The skill sets are actually very small. They're important, and it's important to know like what strategies are the most effective, but it's the things that happen in our brain that not just keep us stuck, but actually are going to be responsible for whether or not we're successful. Today, we are talking about the number one major mistake that we've all made in the past when it comes to the holiday season in growing our businesses. And we also see so many, well-intentioned home business owners, network marketers that are trying to grow their business, trying to build momentum into the new year, but because they make this number one mistake, it actually sabotages them down the road. So let me know if you can relate to this. So when I was first getting started in growing my business, I would hear from my upline and I'd hear from these gurus like, you don't take December off, right? Like you want to build momentum. You don't want momentum to go to the wayside. And so I was working all day, every day in December. Even though I was getting like more rejection than any other month, I was, making the lists. I was calling everybody. I was doing all the old school things. And even when I transitioned into online, I was doing the online things like the influence marketing things. But I was so consumed with building momentum and not letting momentum, go to the wayside that I ended up making this big mistake that I look back on and I regret. You don't want to live your life with regrets. And I have this regret, and that is I wasn't present with my family, with my kids during those times that matter most. And to be more specific, in some of the things that I remember like doing during this time was I was like all consumed in my phone. So during the Christmas recital, if someone messaged me, I was picking up my phone, and rather than watching Kate's, in kindergarten singing, Deck the Halls or whatever that song is that he was singing, I had Wit record it, thank heavens, but I wasn't actually watching it. I was on my phone. Another thing was Christmas morning, I was looking at the live that I had scheduled to go live, and I was looking to see, oh, how many views did we get on Christmas Day, instead of being 100% present with my kids as they open their Christmas presents.
Mhm.
And my kids remember that too, which, they're like, for the longest time, mom cared more about her phone and growing her business than she did me. And it's really, and I mean, we as parents, we do all that we can, right? Like we're building this business for our families. But when my son said that the first time, it was a few years ago where he was all like, "Yeah, you were there, but I saw that you were on your phone." Like, like all of us, that was for me when I was like, "Holy crap." Like I lost sight of what I was growing this business for. Let me know if you can relate to this where, you and Beaches, please feel free to
Mhm.
chime in. Maybe you guys have, experiences where you've done this as well, where you mean to be like number one mom in their eyes, and then you like feel like you made a mistake. And I don't want you to like beat yourself up over those mistakes. I did, right? Like mom guilt set in where I was like, oh my gosh, I was on my phone instead of like being present. But at the same time, it's like, what can we put in place so that we don't make those mistakes, and so that we help those, our viewers, our listeners, not make those mistakes as well?
I can tell you, if you catch yourself doing things like this during holidays or during family trips or during movie nights, it means that
Mhm.
you're doing it all the time. It's not like you just do it during holidays, right? And the rest of the time you're
Mhm.
doing it right or whatever. No, most
Yep.
likely you're doing it all the time. And a lot of times we don't even notice it. Like it so becomes habitual, right? That sometimes we almost need like intervention or someone to tell us straight in the face that you actually not here, right? And we all
Mhm.
guilty of that. We've all done that. And yeah, it's a really good conversation to have, because if you not train yourself to live your future life, right? We
Mhm.
doing this business kind of like for the future, but what's the point? We don't live in the future. We live in the present moment. So I feel like I went really deep without even preparing everyone for this for this deep dive. So what's the point of living for the future if you're missing the present moment? And we live in the present moment, we don't live in the future. So that's why
Mhm.
it's really important to have that reality check for yourself. And what I said earlier, sometimes we need to train ourselves to live our future life, because when your future life becomes your present, you're not going to know how to do it. You're not going to know how to have time freedom. And that was my wake up call. I had the ability not to work every day, but I didn't know how because I didn't
Yeah.
train my body and my brain to have time freedom. I was trained to hustle. I was trained to work my butt off. I was trained to do it all, right? Because that's sometimes what it
Mhm.
takes to build a business. And I'm not trying um, to make anyone feel guilty. That's what it takes, right? That's what it takes to build a business. But you have to start training yourself to live your future life if that's how you want it to be. So
Yeah, I
how
think
that
so
that
often.
might look like.
Yeah, because so often if you're stuck on your phone, and you see it all the time, you'll see couples out on, out having dinner together, but they're both on their phone.
Mhm.
And the message that it's giving, and I'm guilty. It's like, oh, I'll have my phone here, but I'll turn it upside down. And the message that it's giving is, well, actually, you're not that important to me. Like your
Mhm.
phone actually needs, and this is something that I'm still working on. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm still working on it because so often it's like that immediate gratification. It's the immediate, like, oh, I want to check. Oh, look, I've got messages, or I've got another comment, or I've got another like, or I've got 300 likes, or I've got 1,000 likes, or I've got whatever. All this thing's just gone viral, and you keep
Mhm.
checking it. But the whole reason that you're doing this, the whole reason that you're building this network marketing business is
Mhm.
so that you have more time with those people that you love, so that you can do the things that you want to do with your time. But if we are completely glued to this thing all the time, and I love that it just brings up a picture of my husband and my daughter, is so that we can spend more quality time with them. And if you forget how to communicate because you are always in this thing, communicating with, pardon me, with people who aren't that important to you, you forget how to communicate with the people who are the most important people in your life, the people that you're doing this for. You forget how to, because, when Wayne and I started going out, there were no mobile phones. They didn't exist. We didn't have anything. We had landlines, phones that you used to dial. Okay, that was how old I am. You had like
I
a,
had
I
one of
had
those
those
too.
too.
I had one of those
I
too.
I
had
was about to say, we did have
we
cell
did
phones
have
when Whit and I
songs.
started dating.
yeah, yeah. But we didn't have that. And so if we went out on a date, you know, it was, we spoke to each other. There was nothing else we spoke to each other. And I'm going to really encourage you to, you go out on a date, you leave this in your bag. You leave this, or in your pocket. It's not even there. It's not even on the table. It's not there. When you are done for the day, when you have finished your DMO, okay, when you have done all your action steps that you need to do and it's done, you put the phone down, you close your laptop, you put the phone down, you leave it in another room. So
Yeah, I
that,
wanted to talk more about like what are some of the
yeah,
ways to start practicing it, because you really have to be intentional and not like, oh, I need to do that. We all can say that, right? Oh, I need to start doing it, but to actually start doing it, it's not that easy, because it's became a very strong habit for all of us. Like, how many of you, if you even leave your house without your phone, you're like, you're gonna drive back and get it, right?
Yeah.
So
Sometimes.
what are some of the, well, I'll drive back and to get it, because there's my driver license and all my credit cards in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I
you
touch
have all
it.
your money in
Top
there.
wallet.
Yes, same thing. But anyways,
You know what? You know what was one thing that we did with our friends or a group of people was, if we were all going out to a dinner, it was everybody puts their phone in the middle and the first person that picks it up pays the bill. So it keeps everybody, I mean, originally we're all paying our own bill, right? But it's like, hey, we want to be present, let's have good conversation, and no distraction. And it almost becomes this like, you can call people out, like, I saw you reaching for it, like, or whatever, right? But it's like, you have so many more conversations, more eye contact. People are fully present even during conversation, because they're not like listening distracted, like, oh yeah, oh, like, you know what I mean? But I mean, who wants to pay the bill of a big group of people? So you can kind of make it fun like that. But yeah. So, and I mean, I was totally what Carrie said. My kids actually told me that a few years ago, and it was like dagger through my heart. Like, I felt like, but I'm doing this for them. They're not seeing it. They're only seeing this other side. And I'm like, what have I even done? How have I made them feel? And their exact words was, you care more about your stupid phone than you do about us. And that was when I was hustling my face off. And, because I know one speed, it's go. And I was desperate and I wanted so bad to make this work. And I did, but that's kind of like a repercussion of that drive and that, and that growth in your business and that success. To me, it's like, well, do I really feel successful? Like, I hit these goals, but then,
At what
my
cost?
kids, the cost. What is the price you pay for that, And I want to say, there is a right time to have that mentality of hustle your face off, but then there's a right time to have healthy boundaries when it comes to the holidays, being present with your family, and all that stuff. And I think Kat was going to share some things you can do, but one of the things I did, and all of us did, is we set up automation in our business. So I don't know, Kat, you were going to touch on some things too that
I've got something that I want to
like undo or do some better habits or whatever. But that was like a gut punch for me, y'all, was my kids having that perspective. After I sacrificed so much to do it, right? That is like a constant, like, in the back of my head, constant reminder. And I get, like Fran said, I'm not perfect. I get caught up in that too and stuff, and I get called out, and it's a reminder. And then my husband and I actually have like conversations about it together on how we can try and do better around our kids, even with each other when our kids aren't around,
Yeah. I think, and you may have heard this, I can remember being told this, you make the short-term sacrifice for the long-term goal. Don't make that sacrifice. I'm just going to say it right now. Don't make that sacrifice. You have this, you know what your life, I've got like a tickle in my throat. You know what you want your life to look like. Start being that person now. Instead of like and it's the same thing that we talk about often, is the have, do, be instead of the be, do, have. And so often you say, well, when I have the success and I have the money coming in and I've set up all that automation and my team is massive and I'm earning the money I want to earn, then I will start doing the things and I can be that person. I will start leaving my phone beside, I will start, spending time with, it's completely ass about face. I'm going to tell it like it is.
You're actually going to have your phone blowing up more when you get there.
the bigger your business is, the more demand you're going to have from this thing. But instead of sacrifice everything now. Oh, I don't know. I've just lost. Did I just freeze?
I was about to say, I
Anyway,
think your bandwidth's a little low, Fran.
I know it's very low, probably all pixelated, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, start being that person now. Start
Yeah.
living and being in that energy right now of the life that you want to live. And when you can start being that person, you will do the things that you want to do, okay? That do and live the life that you want to live and be the way that you want to be, okay? In other words, not being stuck in this thing 24/7. And your results will come. You will then have the life that you want to have. But you've got to switch it around and don't think, well, when I have it, okay, then I can start ignoring this because my business will be so big. You've got to start doing it right straight away. Kat's got something she
Yeah.
wants to add. I can just see her face.
Well, and it doesn't mean that you should be ignoring your business, right? Or neglecting it. It's
No,
just you have to learn how to manage it. You have to learn how to set those boundaries. So when your phone is buzzing with notifications, it's not going to like make you jump and run, answer every single message in a matter of 3 seconds, right? You have to also train your team and your audience how you operate. And actually, people will respect you more for those boundaries, right? Because that's how we want to live. Everyone wants to live their lives. We want to have that time freedom. And in order to have that, we have to establish those boundaries. And like Fran said, automation, it could be step one for some of you guys. Like what things you can offload that you don't have to be on your phone 24/7. That's probably what I would have do the first thing, no matter if, I know 100% how it works, or it might even take more time to figure it out in the beginning. But in the long run, it's going to give you so much more time back, so much more control back. So you actually can step back and enjoy the holiday or enjoy your day, right? So this is hands down some of the things that I would do if I had to start over or be in that phase where majority of people are. So we actually have a cool software that I don't want to say we invented, one of us.
One of the beach
One
or their
of
beach
us. I don't want to
muscle
take all the credit, right? But
with the help of Brandy,
Not
one of the
open
beaches.
to the public. It is created by Beach Bass.
yes.
Yes.
And it was
It's a
created
tool.
when we were there. It's like, oh my gosh, I wish there was a better way, right? So, and there was nothing out there like this. And we're just gonna create our own. So we did. So it's called LeadMagicX. It's a software that helps you to automate your messaging, so you don't have to be in Messenger 24/7. And also, little spill the bean situation here, you can build funnels by
Funnels
using
through
it.
Messenger and
So it is so
yeah.
Yep.
cool. And we actually give this software for free to some of our higher level students, and we give huge discount to our community, people who are in our community. If you're not, there will be a link somewhere, somewhere, depending where you're watching it or listening it at. Grab that link, check it out, and use automation in your business, because it's going to give you that time and that control back. And so you don't have to be that mom who always on her phone 24/7.
And one thing that I do want to add about LeadMagicX is there's actually a free like get started type version. I don't want to call it a free trial because it's actually free up until so many users, but I guarantee once you start using it, you're going to be like, I need more users, right? Because it's that awesome of a tool. But what's great is you can get started learning it and all of that stuff for free. So don't feel like, oh, I got to go and spend all this money on this thing. No, come in, use the free version as you start, as you get it all set up. And then once it's all set up, at that point, you'll be ready to, do the paid version if that's for you. So there's going to, like Kat said, there's a link somewhere above, below. For those of you who are listening, watching, let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. And maybe if you're just listening to the podcast, and you're like, well, I'm not watching you guys. How do I comment? We would love to know, like, what you guys get from these Unleash Your Inner Badass episodes. So whether you come over to our Facebook page or whatever that may be, share with us. Share what you're getting from it. Engage with us there. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know, you know, what it is that is keeping you going, because that's what fuels us
Yes.
on these Unleash Your Inner Badass episodes. So we've loved today. Make sure you join us again next week. Grab that link from LeadMagicX, whether it's above, below, to the side. It's attached to this video somewhere, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.